Bonjour tout le monde, bienvenue à cette dernière masterclass de la journée, et pas la moindre, parce qu'on va parler de Caroni, le mythique rhum, avec Steffen Mayer, l'auteur du non moins mythique livre et grosse œuvre, Caroni 100% Trinidad Rhum. So, Steffen, I leave it to you.
Yes.
Your glasses are up on stage.
Okay.
Cheers. Merci.
So, thank you. I'm very proud to be here. It's my first masterclass. So, I thought I told everybody I need someone on my side. You see my invisible Luca. So, yes, I. It was okay.
Désolé, je ne l'ai pas précisé pour ceux qui regardent à la vidéo, mais Lucas n'a pas pu être avec nous, donc ça sera Stéphane. Merci.
Yeah. So, Luca, he told me he is somewhere in the traffic and will not come. So, I do my best to do the masterclass here in Paris. The last 5 years, I was working on a very passionate project on my book, Caroni 100% Trinidad Rum. And I'm very, very passionate in this. Today I'm very proud to present the new Paradise series of Villiers. For me, are these rums something very, very special, and I thought a lot about when I'm here with Luca. What can I say about this rum? They are full tropical aged, and these rums, for me, tropical aging. Many people ask me always, what's the difference between tropical aging, between continental aging, what I prefer, and things like that. I think tropical aged rum, not especially at Caroni, all tropical aged rum are something very, very special. Caroni is so special because we have so many different vintages and bottlings in age, total tropical. The most people, they look only on the bottle and read on the backside it's 85% aged share, but they never think about what the meaning is, because tropical aged rum you have to think in the front. When I like to have after 20 years, one cask to bottle, I have to fill more than 10 casks in the front in the distillation year to have after to the angel share. Over the years, there's a lot of loss. So every few years, they put the cask together, because at the beginning you have 10, then the loss starts with 8 to 12% per year, and the fill level of the cask become lower and lower. And so after a few years, they put the cask together, and at the end, after maybe 20 years, there's only one cask left. So it's something totally different to continental aging. So for me, you can't compare, because with continental aging, you have at the beginning, you have one cask, and you put it in the cellar, and over the years, it becomes less, and after 20 years, it's maybe 70% still in the cask. So it's something different. You start with one cask and have at the end one cask. And with this Caronis is the last stock of Villiers. It starts with much more cask at the beginning. So it's a total different rum than other rums that are continental aged. So for the tasting, Pedro, we said when Luca is not here, because for me it's always, I say it's a good rum or it's not a good rum. So for tasting notes, my friend Pedro from Italy, he makes the translation for the English part, so the Italian part in the book, together with Angela Mazzarotte. He's the better guy for the tasting notes and everything. Please come upstairs. Yeah, no, you have a glass here. Thank you, Pedro. Yes. Maybe can we have a microphone? Oh, yeah, we organize. Hello. I don't know. Try.
Hello.
Yeah, okay.
Hello. Bonsoir. Enchanté. Pietro Caputo d'Italie.
Yeah.
Good evening.
So for the start, we have the Paradise 1998. It's very interesting for me because I like more the really heavy styles of Caroni, the massive Caroni. So it's very interesting for me how all here are thinking about these two different, 1998 and the 1996. Which one is the better one?
So this is 1996.
No, the first one is 1998.
1998, okay. I want to make it a bit interactive because there are people that I know, like Jean-François, that was tasting a lot of Caroni with me. You know that we had this testing gang going to France in 2019, and we had to taste all the 140 casks that were left from Caroni distillery that were taken in France, and then they went the best one in the employees and in this paradise, and then the other one were put in in a stainless steel reservoir, and they are going to be in blend and
this one, the Paradise were in Damshaw, so this one.
This one we're making in Damshan.
Yeah.
So this one, for me, you know that the Caroni has can be very heavy on hydrocarburic part. That is the typical note like a rubber, burn rubber. I found present here, but quite balanced with the fruit. Do you know what is the degree? Because I see it's quite powerful, but not very...
The bottles are not here. I think it's 60-something. Oh, yeah, okay. No, it's not. The 98 is 56.3, yeah.
I think I perceive the rubbery part starting in the attack and then evolving with the fruits, with the woody notes that are not completely covering, so it's not a bitter aftertaste, quite long. I feel that when you are over 50 degrees, it helps a lot in the length, so in the aftertaste. And in this case, you have both the fruits and the hydrocarburic note that are leaving after.
For the labels, because many people ask why the concept were changing. So these bottles are in hand-blown bottles now. The pictures of the bottles Luca bought already years ago is from G. Loveless. He's a surf champion of Port of Spain in Trinidad. It was also a funny story and shows always that Luca has a good hands for things. He bought these pictures years ago because he liked the style of the painting, and the pictures was not so much the paintings. And then this guy, they had a big Versace in New York, and suddenly you can't buy these paintings anymore because they are expensive and funny. So, and now the last Caronis will all with these pictures from G. Loveless, surf champion of Trinidad. Yes.
And this is because also we remind that the historical photographer of Caroni labels, Freddie Marcarini,
Yes.
unfortunately died before we could finish the series,
Yes,
because
yes,
he was
yes.
with us in France when we selected the last cask, and he was taking the picture of the tasting gang and the last when we were there, and then unfortunately after a few months we discovered that he left us. So Luca had to find something new to label this series. Why, Stefan, Caroni number 2? Paradise number 2?
Because number 1 is a 96.
Ah, okay.
Yes. We decided to start with 98. Also, Luca asked me always, because his topical aging and everything, about his loss. And that people have also understand, Luca makes a decision to let all his cask in Trinidad or Guyana. And between 2011 and 2019, he lost really, I make the calculation with all his numbers, he nearly lost 500 casks from his 1,276 casks he bought to the Angels. It's really, really a lot. So it's
Yes,
a very powerful rum. Yeah.
As you say, if you see with your eyes what is left in a cask in tropical
Yes.
aging is impressive, because
Yes,
we had one 1994 in France, and it was almost empty.
Yes, but normally it's really that they put always a real single cask with tropical aging doesn't exist in real, because at the beginning it was 10 casks and they put it together over the years.
What they call houillage en français, je crois.
Yes. So I would try next 1996, the second one. And for me it's very interesting, because the people talk always which one is the better one, because always 96, but yeah, we will see. Okay.
Change. So now we go with number 1, right? 1996, 62.7. So we go higher, which is this one.
The second one, yes.
What do you think? At the nose, I perceive it a bit drier than the 98. So more on the woody, dry, almost a noble wood, like a vetiver, sandal. Less hydrocarburic than the 98. Despite the degree, the ABV is higher, I feel less alcohol than the first. I don't know what is your impression. I'm not a guru, so I'm sharing what I feel.
Is 62.7, this one.
Let's see the attack. Wow.
You like it more, the 96?
I see it strong. I perceive it stronger in the first attack. It's for me, it's an interesting profile. It's less rubbery and a bit less fruity than the first. So if you like more the fruit, you would prefer the 98. This one is quite straight on the wood.
What do you prefer? Yes. No. It's both rums are single cask. The mark is the first is a HDR and the second one is a 1996 blended. So 1996 blended means at a distillery. Yes, blended. It means for this rum. It means at a distillery they make a blend out of HDR of a heavy one and a light one. And they put this blend in the cask already. And Luca used that word blended because they always print on the cask blended when they done this blend with light and heavy rum. Yeah. Yes. So
Normally you use the word blend when you blend a different cask before bottling, right? While in this case, in Caroni, because there was the heavy and the light style, depending on the column, recipe, basically, the adjustment, if you have a blend, if you use a part of the column, which is a heavy style, and part of the light style, it's called blend in the cask. But then, if you don't touch the cask, it's a single cask blend.
yes.
It's not a blend of different cask.
Yes. It's also a single
Exactly.
cask. Yes. So for me, I prefer the 98. You prefer 96.
Let's
I
do a
have to-
poll.
Yeah.
It's voting time in Italy.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
who
so-
prefers the 98? 98?
Okay.
Nin-
Always the same.
96?
Okay.
Okay, you
Always
are
the
with
same.
me.
Okay. That's always because that I don't do this.
No, the personal
but
taste is a
yes,
personal
yes,
taste.
yes,
it's
I
not
think also.
better or worse.
Yes,
So
yes.
there
I
are
also
many
think the
people that
same,
love
yeah.
the kirsch. I don't like the kirsch.
Oh.
I prefer others.
Okay.
If
Also
you
interesting.
probably love the kirsch,
Yeah,
right?
I love kirsch. Yes,
Because
yes,
it's similar to the... You have a fruity profile, you have very hydrocarburic, and you have this one that I found a good balance, the 96. So personally, I like a lot.
So we have, correct that you asked this. First we had the HDR, then we had a blended. And what most people, the most rums was not in the warehouse when Carsten make the evaluation of the stock, only every third cask was HDR. And HDR is this mark, the heavy style, Caroni, the people love now. And it was only every third cask was a heavy style rum. All the rest was different marks. And so at Caroni, there was the most people know also the light type rum, the LTR.
There are some 82 light.
Yes. But there are much more marks than only these two, because from the 18,000 casks, there were around 6,000 only HDR. And because that, I said I bring today something different. I'm sure nobody here tried this rum, because one mark is local white rum. And at Caroni, they make something very, very crazy. I don't understand why. They said they like a rum. It's not, they don't like so many tannins. They don't like so colorful. And so they decided to produce the local white rum. It's a LWR. And it was a light rum. And they took out of the cask the toasting, that to get a different quality. Normally you need a toasting for aging, and they done it away. So it's really crazy to do this. The problem is all casks, they were sold to Europe and they come in plastic to UK, and then they recask these rums. So after 2009, when the most rums come to Europe, they put them again in cask, and it was Swiss toasting. So the aging start with these rums in 2009. So it's very hard to find real local white rums. And the next rum,
This is for continental Caroni.
that
what you are
is
saying,
this
right?
one. The next Caroni we try is half tropical and half continental. But I think the interesting thing is it was from the beginning until the end in the same cask. So
No,
it's a
no
90
mix of cask.
no mix
mix
of
of cask
cask.
the
So
same,
it's
no
a
voyage.
1996 Caroni, 25 years old, LWR, local white rum.
So it went in a cask
Yes.
for 25 years
Without toasting.
without toasting.
Yes.
So the white product from the column went in the cask
Yes.
that was not toasted, right?
Right.
And this is what we taste.
That is what we taste.
You have
right?
the picture? No.
No. I have to look how many.
So you
degrees.
should feel more the real note of the wood rather than the toasting, right? So the,
Yeah,
the type of
should-
wood.
No, you don't have so much wood, I think so. Yeah, I look at the moment.
What do you think? So for me, the nose is quite interesting, while the mouth is a bit sweet. So it surprised me. I would not really recognize as a Caroni.
Here it's 51.5 degrees.
Hydrocarburic note is almost absent. Very short, yes. Jean-François, qu'est-ce que tu dis? Non, on n'a pas de.
We have no
de photo.
picture for this one.
We
you
don't
know?
have the picture. It's an experiment. So
Yes,
it's a
yes.
very rare bottle that Stefan found, and he wanted to let us try because there are many Caroni, old Caroni, that are not the Vellier Caroni because
Yes, yes.
they didn't go in the barrels.
I think that's also reason because at the moment the Villiers stock is nearly empty. So I think Luca has around 16 casks left, but there are at brokers. I think there are still around 300 casks and some independent bottlers another 100 casks. So I think there's still 400 casks, but there was bought a lot of this type of rum. And so the aging process, because otherwise there would be more cask on the market, but the brokers bought a lot of this mark. And the aging started when they took it to UK. So I think this rum needs much more years to become good.
Who put in bottle this? Who bottled this?
This one, I don't know. So, but what do you think, Pedro, about this rum?
I think blind. Okay, I'm not very good in blind test, but blind I would not said Caroni. I would probably even guessed an old long pond or something like that. It's quite sweet. It's woody, but with a nice wood. And for 50 euro, is a good rum.
Yeah, but it costs, I think, a little bit more than 10 times so much. So, yes, it's, yeah. But it's interesting to have
Thank
this
you,
mark.
Stefan. What do you think? Good experiment, right? Oui? You like, Christophe? The third one.
You like this one? No.
I like as well. I like as well. He said you will not like, but I like. Maybe today I'm too drunk, but it's a good one. The second is my favorite, but this one is a very nice exception.
So have anyone a question about Caroni? Because I wrote really more than 5 years at a book, and so when someone has a question, please ask. I think I can really answer
Even
every
personal
question.
question. Even personal question like why did you start this?
Yeah, I make a step in this rum, and it started the passion. I drank the first time, and then at this time I quit my job because I had a crazy life, only working, no day off, and I decided to quit my job. And then I had this rum, and I had time. I make a research on the internet. Everything was different, and I thought, okay, I have to make bigger research, and then I stepped in this project. Yes.
Oui. How many bottles of Caroni do you have? I will not answer for me this question.
Yeah, I think I have really a lot of Caronis because, of course, you can think about how the pictures in the book are possible. I collected with one friend from Belgium together to get all rums, to find the rums, to get pictures for the book. So I have quite a lot, yes. Yes? Yeah, that's a very difficult question. Yeah, as I wrote in my book, I'm 100% sure it's not possible to rebuild a Caroni distillery in Trinidad, because in Trinidad there is no more sugarcane, and without sugarcane it's not possible to produce a rum, and it makes no sense to build a distillery in Trinidad again and then import the molasses to make the rum. And so from Caroni, nothing exists anymore. The still is they sold for the metal price because it was also broken. Because in the Caribbean or in Trinidad, always when Tate and Lyle bought a new plantation, they always took the still from this plantation, and when something was broken at Caroni, they took something from this still. So part of the Caroni still, some parts were more older than 80 years. So, and also when I made the interview with Vijay, he told me they had a new distillery director, and he likes to become modern, and then he goes to holiday. And at Caroni Distillery was everything mechanical, not with computer or something like this. It was everything mechanical, and then they changed this during his holidays to try to get it more modern. Then they called Vijay after 10 days and said, please come back, we can't distill anymore, nothing more is working. So it was really, really old still, and yes. But one thing I follow at the moment, I looked for the yeast of Caroni, because when you like to make something similar than Caroni in the past, the first step is always the yeast. You need a yeast, And yes, I think I'm on a good way, and I think the yeast still exists. So it's possible with the right people to make a fermentation with Caroni that's very similar, but not in Trinidad, yes, of course. So it's a different product anyway when something happens.
Thank you.
Should happen, yeah.
The staff, before the next question, is suggesting us to go to the fourth one.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm happy to have you here, my friend.
Let me say just 2 words, because I didn't know Stefan before the room. It was an incredible pleasure. I don't know why, we came together to do this translation, but it was a pleasure. He's a great human being. So he's an amazing man, and we are lucky that he was in this project, because if you read the book, you will see the passion, but if you meet him in person, you will discover the man. So applause to Steffen.
Thank you. Thank you.
And now we go with the famous yellow Caroni 23 that I tasted probably in Milan a few years ago. So why did you choose this?
I don't choose this. My invisible partner, Luca, chose this to try, yes.
Maybe because it's a 94 and we need to go back in time. 98, 96, and now 94. So this, if you remember, is a double aging. Is Trinidad and then Guyana. Because at that time, I remember Luca in Milan saying that he lacked a bit of space in Trinidad. He had to move some cask in Guyana. So it is a double maturation. It's partially Trinidad and partially Guyana. And the different region gives a bit of different way of the alcohol migrating from the cask. So it's a different type of aging.
Yeah, the aging also, we talked at the front. It was hard for me to come in because without Luca and everything, I explained it not good with the tropical aging. But also it depends if every country has a different aging. So the angel share, for example, in Guyana was much, much higher than in Trinidad. I calculated the loss between 2011 and 2019. It was in Guyana, it was 51.18% of the stock.
So half gone.
More than the half goes to the angels. And in Trinidad, it was only 44.93, so much less. So the aging in the Guyana stock was more intensive. No, I don't know why it is.
Okay, here my chemical engineer background is always a combination of temperature and humidity, because the combination of the two make the alcohol and water mix evaporating from the wood more or less quickly. So every country has a different balance, a different level of humidity, and then a different rate. So you have a different angel share. So I remember this was quite strong on wood. Let's see, after a few years that I don't taste it, if it is still the same. The nose is still quite woody. It's a bottle that was open probably for the masterclass, because I see the level is quite high. And we are reaching here 23 years old, which I found quite the limit on Caroni. 23, 24 years tropical is really at the top, because then you start having too much wood, too much bitter notes coming on the profile. Especially if you have toasted barrels.
Yeah, toasted barrels is normally necessary, yes.
Very woody.
Yes, yeah.
What do you think? Who thinks it's very woody?
Yeah.
Still fruits recognizable as a Caroni for sure. So blind is a Caroni, no doubt.
Yes.
Also some, what do you call, the goudron, the plum, mature plum notes, and I would say red fruits with the wood and the queer leather notes. It's a totally different type of wood of the 96 that you've tasted before. I think the influence of the toasting process is much heavier here.
And also, yes, also the tropical aging. I had my brother-in-law was last week. he visited me. He's a whiskey lover, and we tried whiskeys. And then I put some rums in the glass, also continental aged Jamaican with 35 years, and also the last. And I told him, try it blind. What do you think? What is the oldest rum, you know? Yeah. And he said, see, that's the last, you know. And of course, the Jamaican was 35 years old, the last 23. So the aging in the tropical is, you can say 2 times to 2.5 times so intensive. Yes, it's something totally different. So for me, that's also a thing, you know, when you can taste here crazy whiskies from 1966 or something like this. When you taste the woodiness, this one has much
stronger,
more
yes, it's stronger.
power. And when you compare the price of at Gordon MacPhail, the 1966 for 40,000 euro. I think with these rums, with these Caronis, I believe is something special, and it will never ever something like this in this range will be possible to buy in some years.
We are at the end.
The
last
end, yes.
I would put a drop of this one in the third one. Probably you get a good profile. Eh?
What do you mean?
He likes to have some more of the third.
Yeah. So you have other questions?
Yeah,
please ask to Caroni. Yes, please.
Do you have PayPal or?
Yeah, we can take a couple questions because we're a bit over time, and actually everyone has to leave the Whisky Live. But we'll do a couple quick questions.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, from 1996 and 98 was the same production, yes, so nothing different. But in 98 there was something special. They get a new distillery director, and this guy, he came from the mother company from Caroni Sugar Company. And this was also the guy he decided to make the still more modern. He has no idea from distillation. He was a business guy. And so he thought they have to work more efficient, yes? And so he decided when they have to clean the still, they was not allowed to stop the distillation process. And so there was also, the still took some dirty molasses with, and so also the dirty notes are much more in 98. I said, when I hear this story, I said, okay, funny, you know, now we know where the dirty notes, because they are only in some casks. So, but it's maybe from this decision to don't stop the still during cleaning.
Merci.
Hi, can you tell us a little bit more details about the whole Caroni process, from type of sugar canes to fermentation and distillation, different type of stills?
A summary, not
okay.
all. Because when I
start
just
with
in 5
this,
minutes.
We don't stop talking for the next 2 hours. So, what the special things at Caroni Distillery, first thing was they had their own spring. So they don't use the water from the community. Second was they had their own yeast. So they don't bought somewhere, they had their own yeast culture and for the fermentation. So there's also something special, because the most companies, distilleries, they buy yeast from the industry in the meantime. That was special. Then they had a decision, a distillation, to have some people say it was dirty distillation, they done not a good job with distillation, but it was really they want a big fusel part. And this was also a problem because Caroni sold for their rums to the local market especially, and they sold in bulk. And they had not so much success because the problem were when they sold their rum in bulk for blending, Caroni was so special that when you made a blend out of Caroni or the other rum, you always had a taste of Caroni. So when I was by Carsten buys from EA Share, he buys unbelievable amounts in rum. And when I talked with him about Caroni, he was laughing. He said, okay, I bought from Caroni in the year 100 to 120,000 liters. From Angostura, I bought the rum with the tank ship, millions of liters, you know. It's something totally different. So, yeah, the decision to have this, a lot of fusel oils was not so good for their business. But now, the result for us, they closed, it's a very unique rum, something special is great. So for us, good, for them in the past, not so good. Yes?
Okay. Attendez, je passe.
Which one was it? Did you like it right from the start?
The first Caroni I tried in 2016. It was a Bristol 96. And yes, I like it from the front. Because at this time start my passion and never end until now, yes.
But the best you tasted with me, right? The best Caroni you tasted with me in Padua.
Yeah, also I like it very much. He talks about the 1991 blended with the nice lady, the colorful label. I tried this rum and I fall in love. It's not a typical Caroni, but it's an unbelievable rum. Yes, it's very, very good. Yes.
Okay, well, thank you very much.
Bravo!
Merci à vous. Thank you, Stefan.
Yeah, thank you.
Read the book. Take the book and read the book.
Yes.
All the secrets are in the book.
Okay. Thank you very much. And I hope you can enjoy it. The start was a little bit, it was hard. It was my first time. So when anyone has a question, when we go out, I'm still here and you can ask me whatever you want. Have a nice evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Goodbye.